4 Planning Advisory Commission meeting to order. The official start of this meeting is 9 a.m. We could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you could please silence or turn off your cell phones. Thank you. I remind those in the audience and those watching on TV that this is the first hearing of any rezoning, text change, or special exception request brought before us today. We will first hear a reading of the staff report for the case by planning staff and ask the applicant to provide a brief overview of the request. We will then give the opportunity for anyone in the audience to speak for or against that request or to inquire about said request. The commissioners will have any needed discussion on the case. Once a motion is made and seconded by the commission, a vote will take place and a recommendation will be rendered. The case will go back to the planning department for their independent recommendation. If a favorable recommendation is given, then the case is forwarded to the city council with 2 independent recommendations. If the planning department makes a recommendation for denial, the applicant will have 10 days from receipt of the letter stating the denial to notify clerk of council that they are requesting to be placed on the city council's agenda. The City Council of Columbus will hold a public meeting called the first reading. Said council shall consider the case, review Planning Advisory Commission and Planning Department recommendations, and hear discussion on the matter. Council will make a final decision at a second public reading called the second reading. Our first agenda today is to approve the minutes from our previous meeting. Does anyone have any comments or corrections regarding the minutes? All right, would a person like to make a motion to approve? All right, second, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right. All right, that'll bring us to our first case of the day, REZN 08241865, a request to rezone 0.27 acres of land located at 4012 Buena Vista Road. Current zoning is neighborhood commercial. Proposed zoning is general commercial. The proposed use is an auto repair facility. Kyra Cottle is the applicant. This property is located in Council District 1. Could we please hear from staff?
Good morning. This 0.27 acre property is currently zoned NC, and the applicant is requesting to rezone to GC. This is consistent with the future land use and with the surrounding area, which is zoned GC. The current use is an oil change facility, and that is going to stay the same. The purpose of this rezoning is they're going to replat it and combine this lot with the adjacent lot, which is zoned GC, so they have to make both lots GC in order to combine those lots.
All right. Does any commissioners have any questions for staff? All righty. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and give us an overview of your request? Good morning. I think we need to cut your mic on. Yeah, we'll cut it on for you. There you go. Thank you.
Good morning. So currently it's zoned as neighborhood commercial, and we're just trying to rezone it into general commercial to be consistent with the adjacent parcels. And the use for the property is still going to stay as automotive repair.
Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? Yes, Ms. Thomas.
Would you repeat the use again? I didn't quite hear you.
That's right.
Thank you.
For sure. It's automobile repair shops.
Repair shop?
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Xavier.
What's the traffic? Was it anything done like traffic increase?
Because the use is going to stay the same, it should not impact traffic. They're just doing this in order to make one lot and the lot next to it into one.
Okay.
But the use is going to be the same it is right now if you were to drive up to it.
Yes, ma'am. What type of auto repairs will y'all be doing?
So currently we have a proposal for auto glass repair.
That's all I have.
Does any other commissioner have a question for the applicant? All righty. Is anybody in the audience would like to speak for this request? I see none. Anybody in the audience like to speak against this request? All righty, I see none there. All right, if there's no additional discussion among the commissioners, would a commissioner like to make a motion? Yes, Mr. King.
Sure, be glad to. Case of REZN 0824-1865, request to rezone .27 acres of land located at 4012 Buena Vista Road. I make a motion we approve this case based on the fact it's consistent with surrounding land uses and the current use.
All right, I've got a second. Yes, Mr. Baker. All in favor, raise your right hand. All righty. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That'll bring us to our second case of the day, REZN 0924-2020, a request to rezone .23 acres of land located at 411 21st Street. Current zoning is general commercial. Proposed zoning is residential multifamily 1. The proposed use is residential. Broadview SFGAX Office LLC is the applicant. This property is located in Council District 7. Could we please hear from staff?
This property is 0.23 acres and is currently zoned GC. It was built as a residential property but was converted to an office. The applicant is requesting RMF1 to make the property residential again, and that will mean that it has to be brought up to current residential codes. This would be consistent with the surrounding uses. The area is a mix of residential and commercial. No one called about this request.
Okay, any questions concerning the staff report from commissioners? All right, would the applicant please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and give us an overview of your request? I think we need to cut that mic on again. Or is it on? I can't.
There's a button that looks like a person with some lines. Do you want to press that?
Okay. All right.
Thank you. My name is Robert Montgomery. We are simply requesting to rezone this property as single-family residential for the purpose of, we've talked to a realtor, and we proposed selling the house, and he recommended that we go through this process.
Okay, are you going to single family or are you going to multifamily?
Single-family.
Okay. Our
Single family is permitted in RMF1, and RMF1 makes more sense with the surrounding zoning than to put SFR where there's no SFR anywhere near it, but there is RMF1 nearby.
Okay.
But the single family house would be permitted.
Okay,
there.
that's fine. That's fine. I just want to clarify that.
And the home is vacant?
It is vacant.
Vacant.
But your intended use is single-family residential, is that correct?
It is.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, I see none. Does anybody in the audience like to speak for this request? Does anybody in this audience like to speak against this request? All right, I take it as nothing. Would a commissioner like to make a motion? Yes, Mr. Baker.
For REZN 924-2020, a request to rezone .23 acres of land located at 411 21st Street. Current zoning is general commercial. Proposed zoning is residential multifamily 1, RMF 1. I recommend that we approve this. It is consistent with the surrounding land uses.
Second, all right, Dr. McCaskey. All in favor, raise your right hand. All righty, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All righty, that brings us to our third case of the day. It's a special exception request. Use located at 1300 Big Eddy Club Road. Current zoning is residential estate, RE1. The proposed use is a club or lodge membership. Big Eddy Club Incorporated is the applicant. The property is located in Council District 2. Could we please hear from staff?
Big Eddy Club is an existing membership club on approximately 6.87 acres in RE1 zoning. In order to expand, which is their intent, they need to come into conformity, and a club or lodge is permitted by special exception in RE1. So they are just going through this process, even though they do exist already, so that they can expand. And only one neighbor was notified, but I did not receive any calls about this.
Any questions for staff report? All right, would the applicant please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and give us a brief overview of your request?
Good morning. My name's Austin Gibson. I'm a lawyer at Page Scranton. I'm here in Columbus. Our office address is 1111 Bay Avenue. We're just here this morning with the Big Eddie Club, which has been in existence since 1920. It's a private membership club in the Green Island subdivision right there on Lake Oliver. They've been grandfathered in, since they've been operating for 100 years at this point. And when they went in to do their expansion, we realized that their use was not permitted under the current zoning, and so we've done some text amendments, and now we're applying for a special exception in order to allow them to be able to facilitate those remodeling and those additions. And just generally, what they're doing is they've got plans to add an outdoor terrace and then do some interior renovation as well. Nothing major, nothing that's going to substantially increase traffic or visits or anything like that. Just merely expanding the services that they're already offering at that facility. I don't know that there's any controversy with this request, any issues, but we'd be happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Have any questions for the applicant? Yes, Ms. Thomas.
Hi.
Good morning.
How many years you said this had been there?
According to their website, since 1920. Now, I don't know if that's in the same facility or if they've moved facilities since then, but the club itself has been in operation since 1920.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
In a normal situation, would you, if someone wanted to open a club like this, what zoning would they have to be under?
For a club, let's see, give me 1 second. They could do the club or lodge membership, which this is the category for, they could be permitted with a special exception in RE 10, 5, or 1, CRD, and then permitted outright in RO, CO, or GC.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
This club, I heard you say private membership, is it a 501c or just private?
I think it is a 501c3, but I'm not 100% positive on that. But yes, it is a private club.
All right, any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Was there just one neighbor that was notified of the rezone?
That is the only person within the 300-foot, yes. That's the first time that has happened for me.
Yes, Ms. Thomas.
Okay, you said you're building a deck or something on the back of the club. Okay, will the noise disturb this lady that you're talking about? How close is, you said it's...
This property is about 7 acres, so they shouldn't be disturbed by anything. I know they hold events there, weddings, receptions. Mm-hmm. So I think that if there were any issue, it would have come up previously.
Okay, even the outside part.
Correct.
That's right. And they previously and still do events outside. They just have been doing them in the grass, kind of on a sloped area. And so what they're doing is going to go in and kind of flatten some of it out, pave it, and have a nice outdoor terrace area. So what they're doing outside shouldn't change. It'll just be a little bit nicer space.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, any other questions for the applicant? Is there anybody in the audience like to speak for this request? I see none. Anybody in the audience like to speak against this request? All righty, I see none. Would the commissioner like to make a motion? Yes, Mr. Ernst.
In regards to EXCP 09242021, request for a special exception use located at 1300 Big Eddie Club Road. Current zoning is residential estate 1, RE1. The proposed use is a club or lodge membership. I vote to approve with the reason that it's been in existence since 1920. There's going to be no change to what they're currently doing.
Can I get a second? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All righty, Mr. Gibbs.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to our final case of the day, REZN 09241941, a request for a text amendment to the UDO section 3.2.22, convenience store with gas sales. Columbus Consolidated Government is the applicant. Do we need to hear from staff? Yes.
Good morning. From the original ordinance regarding convenience stores with gas sales specifically, nothing is going to be removed, but 4 subsections will be added, and that would be distance requirements, location, lot size minimum, and a minimum number of pumps. And Will Johnson, the planning director, is here to speak about that.
All right.
Yeah, at the request of council and also internal concerns that we've had with the proliferation of zoning cases that have come forward for gas stations, and convenience stores, we decided to look into some other jurisdictions, see what they're doing about the same problem, and these are the 4 items we came up with. We presented these to council fall of last year, and Councilor Tucker has brought it back up and would like to see it move forward, so we're moving it forward. The 4 new issues are, and this green looks really different on the computer than it does when you print it out. District requirements. After January 1st, 2025, any new convenience store with gas sales shall be a minimum of 2,000 feet from any other currently licensed C-store with gas sales on the same side of the street. Same side of the street, by keeping it, by not doing a radius where you can't have one across the street from each other, you cut down on left turns. So that's why we're only restricted to the same side of the street. Location, after January 1st, 2025, new convenience stores with gas sales shall only be permitted along arterial and collector roads. Lot size minimums, we're going with a minimum lot size of 1 acre. If you need to have, if you want to try to get one between a 1/2 acre and 1 acre, you can try for a special exception. That's the same we do with car lots. And then minimum pumps, you have to have a minimum of 6 pumps, or I guess 3 pumps and 6, front and back. That's 6. Just to give you an idea of, because I'm sure y'all are all familiar with Columbus, Floyd Road and Woodruff Farm Road, there's about 4 right there. They're fixing to open a 3rd right there at Miller and Macon. The old nursery is going to be another tobacco palace. So and as Chairman Derby can tell you, these stores don't make any money off gas. They make it off lotto, beer, snacks, and tobacco. And the proliferation has just gotten ridiculous. And it leads to loitering. So that's why we're bringing this forward.
All right, any commissioners have any questions? Yes.
So normally gas stations are allowed in lots that have GC zoning. So even if it has GC, they would still have to go follow these guidelines, correct?
Yes, these are additional standards.
All right, any other questions? Yes, Mr. King?
Why are y'all waiting until January to implement?
By the time,
Huh?
well, it's the middle of October.
I know. Well, I mean, you keep saying proliferation of gas and convenience stores, but
by the
a lot
time-
could happen between now and January the 1st.
Well, we're getting into the silly season.
I know.
Back-to-back council meetings the 2nd, 3rd week in November, same for December.
Okay.
So that's how it ends up going to January 1st.
Okay, yeah, I forget they have to put their mark on it too.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
All right, any other? Yes.
So the 2,000 feet law, that's for all new gas stations?
Yes.
All right, any other questions? All right. Commissioner like to make a motion? Yes, Mr. King?
Sure, I'll make a motion regarding REZN 09241-941, requested for a text amendment change to the UDO for section 3.2.22. Regarding convenience stores and gas sales, I make a motion we approve it.
Get a second? All in favor, raise your right hand. All righty, thank you. Is there any other business we need to discuss before we adjourn? No. Commissioner like to make a motion to adjourn? Yes, Mr. Baker, second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much.